speech that I'm refuting today is arming teachers will fail to stop gun violence on school campuses. Her three main claims were: the first one was bringing guns onto a school campus can lead to more aggression and violence. Her second claim was the gun is easily accessible and can provoke students. Her third claim is the training of using firearms can be expensive and ineffective. Today my three claims will be: arming teachers will increase security and boost protection in schools. My second one is arming teachers will stimulate a quick response during attacks. And then the third one is the training of the teachers will reduce the national cost of securing institutions. So how often do we open the newspaper or turn on the television and see there has been another school shooting? It seems as though it is happening more and more every day. Violence in schools seems to be on the rise, and now we are faced with the possibility of weapons willingly going into our schools to protect our children. So my first claim, arming teachers will increase security and boost protection in schools. President Donald Trump talks about loading a concealed section of teachers, providing a part of school teachers with arms and transitioning them into training schedules to boost the knowledge on gun use and relate policies in a sure way of protecting the safety of students and school staff. So according to the CNBC in 2017, they did a survey for teachers to see if they are with or against arming the teachers for protection, and 68% of the teachers are willing to be armed, and this shows more than half of them out. So an example that I found is in the gun attack event at the Stoneman Douglas High School, in which a total of 17 people died. A coach named Aaron Fees died by taking up the bullets for the school kids. Perhaps if a small portion of the teachers had concealed guns with them, the situation would have been put under control in time before the loss of 17 lives. However, it took long before the arrival of the law enforcement officers, and by the time they arrived, the damage was already done. Leading to my second claim, which is arming teachers will stimulate a quick response during attacks. So in the case of unexpected attacks in learning institutions by shooters, having a small amount of teachers across the school permits having guns and a guarantee that the attack can be contained in time. Concealed armed teachers in school will provide an unexpected retaliation that happens. So the opponents have based their arguments on the presence of guns in school as a mean by which students may be used. The firearms will use the firearms of the teacher. However, what is worse? Is it the shooting of the death of 17 people by one attack due to the lack of preparation, or is it an instance of students stealing the teachers' guns to use against one another? For example, the Sandy Hook Elementary School massacre in Connecticut, in which a 20-year-old Adam Lanza killed 27 people before shooting himself, and one or two teachers in the faculty were armed. The situation would have been intervented. Arming staff members are at the learning institutions, therefore will prove an essential step in providing intentions for attacks. And then this takes me to my third claim, which is the training for the teachers will reduce the national cost of securing institutions. So in economic terms, arming school teachers is a cost-effective technique of achieving schools and ensuring long-term stability. So the cost-effectiveness will not only be in terms of the money put into the project, but also a measure of the convenience brought about by adopting this proposal. Donald Trump's bid mainly specifies on arming concealed teachers as well as people of talent in school environments. An economic comparison between the budget breakdown for the cost of arming and training a fifth of the teacher's population versus the cost of hiring at least 7 guards in a school is revealed by Bump in 2018. So the total number of teachers in both public and private schools in the United States is approximately 3.6 million. Arming a fifth of the teachers will will mean loading close to 718,000 teachers, and the cost of training teachers will therefore cost an approximate of 718 million. Compared to stationing an appropriate 7 guards around each school, the cost will likely be around the same figure. The cost of arming and training teachers will bring a lot sustainable solutions to security around schools. And this is why the idea will prove more convenient and hence will put a stop to attack in school settings. Thank you.
Well, it's clearly organized. That part is fine. On the last point, when you talk about the cost comparison, it sounds strange to me that you say it's roughly equivalent. So if it's equivalent to hiring 7 armed guards for every high school or training 718,000 of the teachers, why, if it's going to cost the same amount, how is it a bargain? Why do we save money? That doesn't make any sense. It's you basically have treated them as if they're equivalent. I can't imagine that it would cost the same amount to do the training of the teachers as it would to hire that many guards. I think that there's something wrong with the argument that you're presenting here that hasn't been explained. If it is correct the way you've described it, then you haven't really demonstrated your point. You basically suggested it's a wash and there's not any difference one way or the other. We're not going to get any cost savings. So I'm confused on that third point. On the second point, the quick response argument, that's, okay, it's very dependent on the hypothetical situations about what would happen in a certain circumstance. And then you kind of have this argument that says, well, which is going to be worse, some student getting a hold of the gun or a teacher not being able to respond to a mass shooter? Well, if the mass shooter is the one who got a hold of the gun, then I could say that that would be the source of the problem. I think that you're missing the advocate's argument here that suggests that this is going to be an incentive for additional shootings, and the comparison that you make here doesn't work as well. On the first point, I think that that's where your argument was the strongest, where you suggest that there's a large number of teachers that would be willing to act if they were trained, and that there would be an advantage to being able to do that because because the hypotheticals that you presented, that somebody could have acted in these particular situations. You used the example of the coach who was willing to take the bullets for their students. Imagine if the coach had bullets of his own to return fire with. That's kind of the argument that you're making, with the hypothetical situation, switching it around. I do think that evidence is a little thin, but it does address the point that you're talking about here, and it reflects the point that you are making. There's a good preview of the material. There's a lot of reading, though, and so it doesn't really feel like it's engaged in the argument so much as just going through the motions of responding to some of these points. All right, thank you.